Hey, welcome to another Client Side Chats. Today, we're very thrilled to have Pam Walaski with us. So, Pam, you're a senior director, correct, for your place of work? Go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure, I'm a senior program director for specialty technical consultants. We're a small, sort of a niche consulting firm. We have about 15 full-time employees. Heavy on the auditing, safety management system side, and also regulatory compliance. In addition to that, some folks might know that I'm on the ASSP board of directors. I'm an at-large member. I'm on the third year of my 3-year term, just started, and so I'm pretty actively involved in some of the things that the society's been doing on behalf of its 39,000 members.
And I mean, during your tenure, I know we've seen that tremendous growth. We've had some changes. And then, of course, now we're into this COVID situation. So that has been quite the challenge, I know, to our members and to what you all have been doing on the board. So thanks for what you're doing, too. I know it's been a tough situation, and you guys are doing a great job. So I just want to get that shout out for you guys. So Pam, I know working with the kinds of clients that you work with and everything, COVID has certainly affected everyone, but how would you say it's affected what you do?
From our end, it's obviously completely flipped the services that we deliver to our clients, as opposed to doing gap assessments for 45,001, preparation for certification. All that stuff has gone on the back burner. Most of our clients are looking for help in managing operations in multiple states. The biggest challenge for them that we had is state requires which things, who has to stay at home, and what do you do if somebody shows up with symptoms or a positive test, and what is considered a critical operation in your state. And so many of our clients have multiple operations, and trying to stay on top of each unique set of guidelines or requirements for each state has really been the biggest challenge. And it changes every day. So that's really been a huge challenge for them. We've sort of done this economies of scale where we're monitoring it all, and you tell us which ones of the ones we're already monitoring you want us to report on. So that's been helpful. We look at everything. You pick the states you want, and we'll tell you what's happening in those particular states. So that's a way for us to present information to our clients. That's been the biggest issue.
Yeah, I can imagine, as you're saying, going from the 45,001 kind of systems and having to shift to the immediacy of a pandemic and how to plan for that and what to do. You're talking states. I know in California, as a lot of people would probably be nodding their heads, each county has kind of a different level here. And it's all based upon, we have very rural areas with, the animals outnumbering the people, and then very congested city areas as well. And it's very different for the approach. Has it changed the way the kind of focus of the advice? Are you still visiting clients while you're during this time period?
No, we're not visiting clients at all. We are doing all of our work remotely, as most folks are. One of the things that we've had to do, and this is sort of where the innovation comes in, companies who are able to innovate. Auditing is typically an on-site function. You may do some document review, but typically you're there physically at the facility, walking around and meeting with folks. But we've completely reconfigured our auditing process to do it remotely. It is missing some of the finer points about an audit that might occur with somebody in person, but we found that we're able to keep doing that. And so if you're a client that has to do an audit once a year, we're helping you to sort of stay on track with your schedule by continuing to do those audits. There are pros and cons to it. It's cheaper, right? Clients, because they're not paying our travel expenses. But it's working. We've done a number of them in the past couple of weeks, and they seem to be going well. So innovation is the key, I think, with most of us.
That's great. And I can imagine too, that definitely gets people to rethink a little bit more of the buy-in and everything that they're involved with too. So that's wonderful. Now, as you know, going forward, we're of course learning more and more about COVID as we do. And the more we learn about it, the better we are at helping in the prevention aspect of it. But what are your plans here from the company standpoint? What you all are doing, what you provide, is there going to be continuing lingering aspects of being preventative as you move into the future here?
think that we will be starting to slowly return to on-site operations. We've certainly gotten in touch with some of our clients and said, assuming that you have the proper protocols put in place on certain situations, we would be willing to come back to your facility for certain kinds of tasks and activities. And then that will continue to grow and expand. Part of it depends upon how well we think the state has managed it. Some states are doing pretty much nothing. So as we sit here today, I would not respond to a client request to go to Florida. But I might respond to a client request to go to New York, right? Because different states are doing a better job of managing it. So be looking at how the client is managing, ensure that we feel safe and that we can do the task. And also, is it necessary for us to be there? If it isn't, the general rule of thumb still is to remotely work unless you need to be on site. So my guess is it'll be toward the latter part of 2020 before we start to really get back out on the road visiting clients, assuming we'll see what happens over the next couple months, because that could change. It has changed all the time. So we would expect some adjustments as things move on.
Oh, that's something else too. And I know from your board position with ASSP, American Society of Safety Professionals, you all are looking at that also, the similar kinds of things of doing much more virtual things and prepping from that angle, correct?
Right. And as you know, when we're recording this today, we're just gearing up for presenting the Safety PDC virtual, which will start 5 days from now or 6 days from now, and a 3-day event. Lots of interesting, as we were talking before, lots of interesting ways that the platform will allow us to network and meet with people and talk with people. Zoom meeting rooms have been set up. So if you want to set aside some time to meet with a vendor or catch up with some friends, you can reserve a Zoom room and, 6 or 7 or 8 of you can get together and chat. There's coffees being hosted by the board members so people can have the ultimate opportunity to interact. And the thing that I like the best is, when you go to the live event, there are 4 or 5 sessions in every block of time. And inevitably, there are 3 sessions or 2 sessions that I really want to go to. And you can't. You can only physically. Well, the way this platform works, you can go back and look at it anytime. In fact, you have up to 60 days after the event to view the recordings and listen to them, and also, of course, to earn the CEUs for them. So, the downside is we're not in person. The upside is there's some things we can do that we wouldn't be able to do if we were in person. So, that's the way our world is now. That's the way, if we aren't innovating, if we're not being willing to accept new changes, then we're going to be unhappy. We just have to, we have to thrive in this environment, not just survive.
Absolutely. And I think you're very right, Pam. So, hey, I want to thank you for joining us today on this. Greatly appreciate it. Look forward to also catching up with you in the future as well. So let's check back in, see how things are going, and we'll continue to progress forward. So thanks.
Absolutely.
Again, Pam.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.